Okay, so this is going to be basically a tutorial or introduction or guide to 3BF. So, a couple things. 3BF is an add-on. Okay, um, the whole list or most lists that have 3BF, they're built off Requiem. Requiem changes basically the entire game, right? Leveling system, like everything. However, the only difference between 3BF and Requiem does vanilla leveling, 3BF does insight leveling. We'll get into that later. So the biggest thing is races. We'll kind of walk through them all. So Almer, very good mages. Very, very good mages. They get extra spell power. Um, they have a detriment to elemental damage. That means they take negative 25% to all the elementals. That's shock, fire, and frost. They're allowed to channel magicka. They're the only race that's allowed to do that, meaning they can exchange stamina for magic. Um, they get extra spell range, which is really nice. And they're overall very good mage. If you want to do a pure mage, like a Destro mage or a pure spell power mage, Altmer is the way to go. A lot of build diversity with Altmer. And stamina, not the best. Health, not the best. Very low health, very low stamina. Um, but other than that, that pretty much sums up them. Argonians. Ah, Argonians, the reptilians from Black Marsh. Okay, so Argonians. They heal 1 health per second at all times. They have an extra 100 armor rating because of their scales. They have 25% resist to shock. They have 90, and I think it's like almost 100 disease resistance and poison resistance. They're allowed to eat raw meat. They have a strong stomach, essentially. So they're allowed to eat bestial stew, which is really nice. They're weak to frost. They have a negative 15% resist to frost. And then a lot of builds you could do with them. They're able to swim in water with no stamina cost. And they can swim in water forever. They'll never run out of breath. Um, very good evasion builds. Very good heavy armor builds that you could do. Stamina, not the best. Very low stamina rate. In fact, I can kind of go over everything here better. So Altmers, we'll just start off with that since I went that first. They get an extra 45 magic, 75% resist to diseases. I already said the channel magic, 5% stronger and or longer spells, 10% cheaper spells, 10% longer reach of spells. They restore 1 magic per second. Whenever they're wearing enchantments, they're 10% stronger. And they're allowed to recharge weapons unperked and they're allowed to create potions unperked. And of course, they have a 10% increase to power attacks because they're not really warriors. Argonians, since we're on them, pretty much shut out those. They're water breathing, 25 bonus unarmed when they're not wearing heavy gauntlets. They can sneak and create potions unperked. They have a strong stomach, and they have imbibe potions that are 10% stronger. That means any potion that they make, it's 10% stronger. Let's go ahead and move on to Bosmer. Also, a lot of build diversity. You could do a lot. You could do, you know, stealth builds, evasion builds, heavy armor builds. They're very diverse. Bosmer. Okay, let's see. Bosmers, they start off with 10 ranged armor pen. Whenever they're using a bow, it costs 10% less stamina cost. They get strange meat, so whenever they kill a race, they get a race-specific meat. Argonians, that allows them to restore half health per second. Altmer gives them 5% cheaper spells. Bosmer gives them 25% stronger carry weight, magic regen, and stamina restored per second. Breton gives them 5% magic resist. Dunmer gives them stronger damaging spells. Imperial gives them stamina cost reduction, 10% while attacking. Khajiit gives them 4% movement speed. Nord gives them 50% resistance to stamina and magic lost on hit. Orc gives them 5% more melee damage, and Rhaegar gives them an additional half stamina per second. And then with those meats, they can craft snacks. And they're all on the 3BF site. Altmer gives 20 magic. Argonian gets 10 unarmed damage. Bosmer gives half stamina per second. Bretons get 8% magic absorb chance. Dunmer gives 20 health. Imperial gives 20 stam. Khajiit gives 10% cast speed. Nord gives 20% attack stam cost reduction. Orc gives 4% armor pen. And Red Guards get 5% attack speed. Those are all the perspective snacks that you can make with their respective meats. They also get command animal, just looks like a lesser power. You can use a strained meat to gain an ally, like an animal ally. They resist to disease, 75%. They have increased power attack cost, 15%. Obviously, they have a strong stomach, and they can sneak and create potions on perk. Bosmers, a lot of build diversity. Good archers. You can make them very good warriors if you know what burststones and whatnot to pick. Good evasion builds. Yeah, I mean, they're pretty diverse. Breton. The frickin' man, the myth, the legend, Breton. Very good race. Very good mage race. 20% magic resist they start off with. Their spells last 30% longer. And they are allowed to create unique foods only to their race. There's 3 different ones. There's Evermorian Cassoulet, Pheasant Confit, and Yehenin Souffle. They all give different things, like Cassoulet gives 30 health, 30 carry weight, 30 stam, and it restores 0.75 stam per second, 10 magic, and 10% magic regen. Confit gives 30 stam, 0.75 stam per second, 30 magic, 30% magic regen, 10 health, and 10 carry weight. Souffle gives 30 magic, 30% magic regen, 30 health, 30 carry weight, 10 stam, and 0.25 stam per second. They also have Dragon Skin, which is an ability that they can use to increase their absorb by 25% for 30 seconds. Obviously, they have increased power attacks, 15%. Very cool ability. They recover magic on hit, and the amount depends on the weapon type and whether it was a power attack. Weapon and staff enchantments are 10% stronger. And do note, it does not include sun or bound weapons. And they're allowed to recharge weapons and potions unperked. So, not the best stam. In fact, I would probably say out of all the races, they're probably the worst when it comes to stamina. Very good magic pool. Decent regen. Health, like I said, mage hard focused builds or mage hard focused races have not the best health. Dunmer, the more middle class race. Lots to cover here. Let's see. So they get 50% resist fire, and they have a 25% lower magnitude when fire spells come their way. They have teachings for reclamations. Basically, when you choose a blessing at the beginning, it'll ask you whether you want to, do Azora, Boethia, or Mephala. Each one gives a buff and a debuff. So Azora gives spells are 10% stronger, but you take 10% more magic damage. Ugh, sucks. Boethia gives melee damage 10% more, but you take 10% more physical damage. Mephala is bow draw speed is 20% faster, but you move 5% slower. They get a great ability called Ancestral Ward, which is a concentration spell. It doesn't cost any magic. It costs 10 stamina per second, and it protects against 150 spell damage, and it decreases incoming physical damage by half. They have 20% stronger damaging spells and infusions, 10% costlier damaging and or destruction spells. They can sneak, recharge weapons, and create potions all unperked. All around decent stats. Good health, good magic, and good stam. Stam regions, it's not the best. Onto the fucking goat, Imperials. Great warriors. Oh, right, Dunmer. So Dunmer, very diverse when it comes to builds. I tend to like to play them more in evasion and pure mage types. Very good Destro mages. and you can make some pretty damn good evasion builds. There's heavy armor builds that you can do with them, but the stamina is the biggest problem early on. Imperials, the go-to warrior. They come with 15 speech, 30 extra stam, 20% less stamina cost while attacking with melee weapons. They gain 1 stamina per second while sprinting. Their spell costs are increased by only 2/3 of their effective mass. They get 10% decreased power attacks. Decreased, not increased, like with Altmer and Bosmer. And enchanted weapons consume 20% less charges. Very good race. Good health pool. Decent magic pool. Very good stam pool. Probably one of the go-to races to go for build-friendly stuff if you're new to 3BF. Khajiit. Let's see. They come with 10% extra movement speed. They have a separate enemy armor rating multiplier, which reduces enemy armor rating by 10%. So when they hit somebody with a weapon, it reduces the enemy armor rating by 10%. I think is how I understand it. They get Night Eye, obviously. They can toggle night vision. It's not very good, but, you know, to each his own. 25 bonus unarmed damage when not wearing heavy gauntlets, just like Argonians. They start with 1 lockpicking expertise. They have 65% less falling damage, 50% faster casting speed, which also applies to staves, which is kind of cool. They get 50% muffle when they have nothing on their feet slot, and they can sneak, pickpocket, unperked, and they have a strong stomach. Decent stam, decent magic. Health, shit. Shit. It's not very good. Very bad health. A lot of builds you could do with them. You could do a warrior build, you could do an evasion build, you could do a sneak build. A lot of diversity with them. Nords, the classic two-handers. They get 12% less cooldowns on shouts. Their resist frost is 50%, and they also have a 25% lower magnitude of incoming frost spells. They negate stamina and magic loss on hit. Very big. Very big. That means when they get hit by anything, they don't lose stamina or magic. When they're wearing worn armor, it adds 10% to their armor rating. So if I'm wearing a full set of steel armor, it adds 10% onto that. Then they have 15% decreased power attack cost. Decent health. Magic, I think they start with 80. And stam is pretty good. Very good warriors. Very good two-handed warriors. As you can see, they start with 10 and two-handed. Good evasion builds. So you can do a good barbarian build with them. That'd be fun. They're also very good heavy armor users. A lot of build diversity with them. You can do a lot. Orsimer. The fucking orcs. Orcs. Okay. Big boys. They start with some good stuff. So, they have among one of the higher health pools. They get an additional 20 health off bat. They get 5 melee armor pen, 20% more melee damage. They get 20% decreased power attack cost. But the caveat for their extra melee damage, because they swing so hard, it increases the regular attack cost. So when you swing, like swing, it costs more stamina. So it's better to power attack with them. They also have a strong stomach, and they reduce incoming spell damage by 10%. Very good health. Very, very good health. Terrible magic. They only start with 60. And decent stamina. For them, it's difficult early on. Because of their extra melee damage, the swinging cost is hard to manage early on. Better to start with a better birthstone to increase their stamina. Very good warriors, heavy armor, light armor evasion, very good. A lot of build diversity, very good race. And finally, one of my favorite races, one of the most 3BF friendly races in my opinion, Red Guards. They start with 5% extra movement speed. They restore 2 stamina at all times per second. They have 20% melee attack speed, 10% decreased melee damage. That means they do 10% less melee damage. They resist disease and poison by 75%. They have 20% decreased power attack cost, and their spells cost 15% less magic when at full magic. Decent health, about 80 magic, very good stamina. Overall, very, very, very good warrior builds. You can also make them semi mage hand builds. You know, do a little evasion, do a little magic. Very, very good warriors. Honestly, if you don't know what you're doing, you want to do a warrior build, you don't know what to pick, Redguard is the best. So, what I'm going to do is essentially, this is what I recommend. If you're new, if you are new to 3BF, and you have no idea what build you want to do, I recommend a couple things. Familiarize yourself with the warrior, classic warrior. Who I'd go? There's about 3 choices that I would go. For if you want to do pure warrior build, Redguard, Nord, and Imperial. The reason I say don't go Orc, while they're very good and they come with good health, the stamina early on with attacking for newer players, it's going to be not tough, but difficult to understand how to cope with that early on. So you want to learn more about them after you learn initially how to become a warrior and do it very good with Imperial, Nord, and Redguard. I think for this practice one, I'm going to go with Nord. They're very good. They're very, 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 very good warriors. And I'm going to give you a little taste here of just how good they are. Don't need a crazy name. So you'll load in, depending on whatever list you're playing. Everything will run. You're going to go into Magic. It's going to pop this up. This basically starts 3BF installation. It's going to whisper Requiem into your ear. You're going to finish. You can read through that. It's fine. Doesn't matter. So, you're going to go to Magic. There's going to be 2 things you're going to see in there. Choose Birthstone and choose Blessing. These are all the Birthstones. They all are overhauled. And they all tell you what they do. This is what Warrior does. This is what Thief does. This is what Mage does. And on down the list. Atronach, Lady, Lord, Lover, Ritual, Shadow, Steed, Tower, and Serpent. So, for the purpose of this build, I would recommend a couple. Warrior is very good. You start with an increase of 10% to one-handed, two-handed, and marksman weapons. You get an extra 5% armor pin, and you get 30 health. Thief is another underrated one. This gives armor pin for one-handed and a boost to stamina by 20 points. You also get lockpicking expertise. You can effortlessly open things. Very good. Very good. Lady, that's another good one. This gives 30 health and 30 stamina and 40% stam regen. And you can run or swim without penalty. Lord, this one's a bit difficult to understand, but very good when you do understand it. You get natural regen. That means every second you gain 1 health at all times, kind of like Argonians. You have the Trollkin Curse, meaning that you have 25% less fire. That means you have negative 25% fire resist. But you also weaken hostile spells, so you get 15% magic resist. Your worn armor contributes 33% less penalty for wearing armor to all stamina and spell cost and movement speed and noise. This one's a little bit more complex to understand. I'm not going to choose that one. And then you got Steed. Pretty simple. 50 stamina, 10% movement speed. Movement speed is huge in the early game. Huge. So, I'm gonna go Steed. Blessing, lots of blessings. So you have all the divines. You have Daedra. And you have other. Okay? All very unique. Right? There's Akatosh, Archae, you can read that, Debella, Julianos, Kinnereth, Mara, Stendar, Talos, Zenithar. Daedra, you have Azora, Boethia, Clavicus Vile, Hermaeus Mora, Ursine, Jigalag, Malakath, Mehrunes Dagon, Mafala, Meridia, Molag Bal, Nemira, Nocturnal, Periite, Sanguine, Sheogorath, and Vermina. And then in the other you have Oriel, Cerebane, and Magnus. Now, for newer players, I would not pay attention to Daedra or other. You'll learn about them more, but as of friendly builds to play, stick to the divines. Akatosh is more for like Dragonborn type builds. This is what he does. Archae is good, gives you a lot of defense when it comes to undead. Debella gives armor rating and armor pen, and then cheaper illusion when you persuade. Julianos gives extra magic, regen, and greater damage with staves in melee combat. Kinnereth gives stamina, wind spell cost reduction, and greater damage with bows. Mara gives magic resistance and cheaper resto cost reduction. Stendar gives greater damage with swords and great swords. They're doubled against vampires and Daedra. They resist absorb spells and 25% physical damage from Daedra. Talos gives stam regen, greater damage with war axe and battle axe, and cooldown. And then Zenithar gives carry weight, greater damage with maces and warhammers, and all of this as well. For the purpose of this build, we're going to go Talos. We get an extra stam regen and 10% better damage with battle axes. So that's what we're going to go with. This is Wheeler. You can put things on there. I'm not going to talk too much about that. So, what you're going to do, this is Mara.
Approach, my child, and choose where your new life shall begin.
Depending on what list you have will depend on what's here. I usually go camping in the woods, or I'll start at a specific inn. Camping in woods is definitely the most friendly build-oriented. Very good starter locations to do, and
can be so peaceful
good
this
insights.
time of year. Good hunting.
I'm gonna run my MCM recorder. And we're gonna use the bed. When you come out, it's going to ask you for your starting gear. You're going to click. This is for the armory. Okay. You can choose from a variety of things here. We're going to choose most likely Archae, crossbow, and some bolts. Oh, I messed that up. I like to start with veggie soup. There's all sorts of food buffs. You get a snack buff, a main entree, and a drink buff. So we're going to do veggie soup and salmon steak. These are all the potions. We're going to go with tonic of stamina and tonic, or potion of regen. I usually start with 2 fairs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, hold on. I fucked that up. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I start with healing poultice. And I usually go with the scroll of knock rank 2. Okay? So you'll start. First thing you do, sleep for an hour. Get that rested bonus. Rested bonus gives you stamina magic regen. So if you look at here, we have 2.26 stam regen. So, actually I meant to start with the steel battle axe, so actually that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to start with an iron battle axe, because I forgot to do this. So, got a battle axe. First thing you're going to do, load up your perks. Don't forget to take your perks. We're going to do two-handed. We're going to take barbaric might. And I'm going to take evasion. Because this is going to be an evasion build. So what you're going to do, going to come over here. Come on down here. This is a little spot here, a little cove. You'll find these guys. And they have a hooded plain robe, which decreases physical damage taken by 12% by avoiding critical hits. You just go straight beeline for that. And I grab that. There's 3 bandits up here. This tests how your build's gonna go. I usually always go for them. You're gonna see that there's a guy with a bow. This guy right here. You want to break his bow. To break bows, you have to have the corresponding perk with whatever weapon you're using. If you're using two-handed weapon, you need the first perk of two-handed, which is Great Weapon Mastery. If you're using any one-handed, mace, sword, whatever, you need one-handed weapon mastery. I usually like the bull rush. Get a good sprint.
Now ain't this a surprise?
And that's all you do. Now we just need to dodge. Dodging is all about time and patience. And knowing when they're gonna hit.
You won't live to see tomorrow.
Battle axes are slower, but they hit harder. Take your time.
I swear I'll kill you.
I'll have your blood.
Just take your time.
You hear me? Dead!
Okay, that dumber's dead. Gonna keep our damage, gonna watch our stamina on the bottom.
You're dead!
We got decent regen. We have all that extra magic from Steed. And we have a nice 10 extra movement speed. Okay, we hit her that time. Missed. Missed. Got her that time.
You won't live to see tomorrow.
Okay, we got hit. We're gonna take a potion.
Please don't
Nice,
kill
she's
me.
down. Then I'm gonna go ahead and power attack.
All you got!
And that's all it is. The biggest thing with combat that you want to know is patience. If you're not a patient person, this game's probably not for you. Well, Skyrim in general. So, there's not much else to know. The biggest thing is... Oh my gosh, I forgot to take my buffs. Always take your buffs, don't forget. So, biggest thing with combat. Take your time. Move slow. You're not in a rush. Pick your enemies very wisely, as you're about to see. There's a mage up here, and they're high level. Typically, don't ever go for them, because they will literally crush you with their magic. We have a good stand pool, so I'm going to bull rush them, and you're going to see the bull rush mechanic. This is the mage.
Here we go.
And I power attacked, and she's dead. Doesn't work for everybody. Oh look, she's got stam regen, that's pretty good. We're actually aware of those. We got a lot of extra stam regen. Now we have 2.76. We're not going to take that fight. That's a spider. They will spit their spit at you, and it lowers your stam and health. They're very tanky, and they can paralyze you if they bite you. So, I'm going to run. Always know when to run. Don't be afraid to run. And just run. Choose your battles very carefully. But other than that, guys, that's it. Nothing too complex. But that is essentially how you play 3BF. Biggest tip I can give is go to the 3BF website. Where you're going to find that. I'm literally going to say it so that you can type it out. You're going to type sites, S-I-T-S, period, google.com/view/3BF Tweaks, Requiem, REQUIEM/character/race. That'll bring you to the race page. There's a whole overview, home overview, character skills, and system mechanics. You can read everything you want about 3BFtweaks Requiem. And that's the introduction. So welcome to 3BF and have a blast, guys. Until next time. Deuce.